And we're back in the studio with a very special guest. So, Brona Fullen, you are the president for another day of the EFIC. And you are not just the president, you are the first female president and the first physio to ever be a president of EFIC. So congratulations on that.
Thank you very
congratulations on a full, well done term.
Thank you.
At least I wonder, and I assume when I do, since I've been a bit closer to EFIC over the last few years, if I wonder what does a president do, I think everyone does. So could you enlighten us? What does a president do?
Well, as you know, EFIC's a charity, a registered charity. We represent over 20,000 researchers, doctors, physiotherapists, nurses and psychologists, either conducting research in or clinically managing people with pain. So I suppose we're a link between the federation chapters, their individual members, and also part of a federation. We're one of 5 federations under the umbrella of the IASP. So we are focused on, obviously, research, education and advocacy projects.
So what happens if the president is not there? What does it run anyway? Are you more like poster girl, or are you actually doing something as a president?
Oh no, as president, I'm not saying it's a full-time job, but it's a very busy job. Each president comes in. Obviously the organisation, as I said, it's a part of a federation, so there are responsibilities there. But also each president comes in and they have an agenda that they want to drive as part of their vision and mission for their 3-year term. So we have the organisation is very well structured, as I said, so under advocacy, research and education. So the various projects are run through structured working groups. So there's obviously a very big team, as you know, in the office, CEO Sam Kangman and the executive office staff who support the working group chairs, the committee and chair and vice chair. So yes, you have obviously you have your overarching view of it, but you are still very involved in ensuring that the projects are running, inputting into the projects, and of course we're here for the EFIC Congress. So of course that's it's up to the president to to select a scientific program chair, for example, and work with them and the conference organising team to
so
make
the
sure
president
their vision
really has her hands in everything, essentially.
Yes, you're not micromanaging, of course, by any way, but you are very much involved in decision making. And again, as an organisation, we are in the heart of Brussels, very close to the, literally very, as you know, very close to the seat of power. So we're also, working, trying to increase the visibility of pain management, the impact of pain on people's lives, to the European Union. So there's quite a political aspect to it as well.
Yeah, because it's not only to the members or as it were, the member countries. You're also the representative of all of us outside of the European pain community. So you've been to the European Parliament, for instance?
Yes. So of course, we're all working for people, with acute and chronic pain, and through our advocacy, we are the voice for them, and we work very closely with them. Pain Alliance Europe, big umbrella group, is literally in our building, as you know, in Brussels. So we're working very much in partnership with people with pain to highlight the problem of pain to the politicians, because we want to influence funding for research, we want to influence healthcare, and we want to highlight, of course, the significant cost, both most importantly to the individual themselves, but also to the health services, to economies, and we need to do this, and we need to influence at the very highest level to affect change in that sphere.
And I guess everyone knows by now that being the president is really, I was going to say a full-time job, but it really isn't, because you still have what some would refer to as a day job, don't you?
Oh yes, I'm associate professor in University College Dublin, so I have a full-time job. I have obviously a teaching caseload, and I have PhD and master's students like you have. So I also have a very supportive head of school, Professor Catherine Blake, who's here at the conference as well. She's a pain researcher. So I have very supportive colleagues, and the activities that I my vision and mission for EFIC and what I've achieved is obviously education's part of it. So I'm influencing how we teach students, how we prepare the next generation of healthcare professionals. So yes, I'm looking forward to going back to having one job on Monday. Yeah.
So whilst you have actually changed quite a lot of things during your period, you have also done things that may be more like, putting the seed in the ground. So in 3, 4, 5 years' time, when you look back on your period, what are you hoping to see grow out of the ground that you've sort of...
Well, one of the big projects, or I suppose the lighthouse project of my presidency, was to establish a research strategy, because I think to influence again at the highest levels, other large organisations have a framework, a research framework, and whilst EFIC has always lobbied on behalf of people with pain and research, we didn't have a very focused approach, so we would always call on more funding for research, but that's very broad, that's not specific. So in order to influence maybe, grant funders, and in the EU we need a focused strategy. So that's one of the big projects that that I set in place during my presidency, and we're getting to the end of that process at the moment, and hopefully end of this year, early next year, that will be published, and then we have a solid foundation of where across basic basic translational and clinical research, where the key questions are, and how we can, I suppose, focus attention on these for the future. So that's certainly one of the biggest projects, or the biggest key items I did. And then I suppose increasing engagement for EFIC, for probably groups that weren't as involved before. For example, primary care physicians. They obviously see their patient the first day with acute pain, and they're also managing people with pain long term. So as a constituent group, they have become more involved in EFIC. We have a stream in the conference for sessions, workshops devised by, for and with general practitioners, again just to use their expertise so that we can also learn from them.
And I guess from my chair, as being a physio myself, is a sort of side effect, as it were, from having a president that is a physiotherapist, is that I see it's opened the eyes of the physio community to the pain science community, which is really has been separate things. But as I see it, they're much more approaching each other now, and I would assume that's because the physio has been sort of mentioned. MSK has been a much bigger topic over the last few years. Yeah. We're talking about it on a global scale, of course, because it's so disabling.
Yes, of course, and naturally having a physio as president is brings attention to us. But physiotherapists are one of the core groups within EFIC, along with nursing, psychology and medicine. But yes, it certainly has increased the profile and brought both communities, physiotherapy more in with pain. So obviously that's a good thing. Pain is the main reason people come to physiotherapy for treatment. So so we need to, it's important. We've had keynote speakers, this week, and lots of physiotherapists have submitted workshops which have been fantastic. So yes, of course, it's been great, and I hope I've been a part of highlighting the role of physiotherapists.
I'm very sure you have. So what's life going to be like on Monday with just one job and not having to be the director of a big orchestra?
Yes, indeed. Well, I'm back at my desk in as I am every Monday in University College Dublin. So I'm very much looking forward to stepping back. And in EFIC, I'll be immediate past president for 1 year, so I will be playing a supportive role for Professor Luis Garcia-Larrea, who takes over at the end of today. So I will support Luis, of course, as Bart Morleon supported me. But yes, I'm looking forward to grants, teaching, more downtime, more time for sailing. So yes, looking forward to. Of course, I'll always be involved in EFIC, but from a distance and supporting physiotherapy, education and research. But looking forward to, and very much looking forward to seeing what Luis, he has his own vision and mission, so looking forward to seeing the new direction that EFIC goes. We're constantly growing, we're inclusive, we're progressive, so very much looking forward to the future and being as supportive as I can.
Thank you so much for your time, Brona. I want to extend my personal gratitude for all you've done. I think you've done an amazing job, and it's been a huge pleasure to follow you on your trajectory through the EFIC, and now as president, and now very soon immediate past president.